Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to another video on ForgottenWeapons.com. I'm Ian McCullum, and I'm here today at Morphy's with a very cool, very old Japanese firearm. This is a 3-shot Swivel-Breech Japanese matchlock, and this dates from some point in the Edo period, and it's hard to tell exactly when, because Japanese firearms technology didn't really change much for a little over 150 years. They got the matchlock in the early 1600s from the Portuguese, and then the Japanese nation pretty much locked itself down away from Western influence for 150 years and didn't really change their firearms technology at all. It wasn't until like 1868, when Japan had to open up to the West again, that they made the single giant leap from matchlocks to modern cartridge firearms. So this comes from somewhere during that period, and as a 3-barreled rotating breech handgun, it's extremely rare and very cool. There are only a couple of these that are actually authentic to the period that exist today. So let's take a closer look at what this is and how it works. If you are familiar with the tanegashima, all the elements on this will look very familiar to you. So first off, the way the rotating mechanism here works is we have a central axis, or a central arbor, right there, 3 barrels welded on it. Each barrel has its own sights and its own priming pan and pan cover there. They are attached to this rear cylinder, which then just spins on an axis in the grip. You have one trigger, you have one firing mechanism, and of course this is a matchlock, so what's missing here is you would have a slow-burning match pinned into this hammer. The match would then come off the back, and you could unpin it and move it up as the match burned. But this is the cocked position. The springs on this are a little bit weak, so I can just go ahead and dry fire it like that, and then you would manually recock it. Pretty easy there. Now, originally, the way this is supposed to line up for firing uses these little detents. There's one aligned on each barrel, and then you've got this brass flat spring that has a little nub on it, and it's intended to lock into those little detents just as a friction lock. The spring, though, is pretty tired today, and it really just doesn't hold in position, but you can see how it originally worked. You would then, once you're ready to fire, you would rotate it into position, open up the pan cover. You would have, obviously you'd have each barrel preloaded with powder and ball, and you'd prime it as well, and then close the pan cover when you're ready to fire. You open the pan cover up. When you pull the trigger, it drops the match in there and fires, and then all you have to do is rotate it, well, recock the hammer, rotate it to the next position, do the same thing, and you've got 3 shots to work with. These are approximately 40 caliber. They're smoothbore barrels. 40 caliber would be something on the order of about 1.5 monme in Japanese terminology. These fire at round balls, so you're looking at essentially a 40 caliber round ball. Not super powerful, but not super wimpy either. There were Japanese tanegashima that went as low as like half a monme. They had 6mm guns, all the way up to like 1.5 inch or larger sort of fortification hand wall gun sort of versions of tanegashimas. The sights are very distinctively Japanese. There are a number of different tanegashima Japanese styles of sight. This is the kimono sleeve style. This is something you'll see as a rear sight. It's less common to also see that as a front sight style, but each of these, front and rear, has a little groove in it, and you would just line up those 2 grooves for firing. Not that a little hand blaster cannon like this thing really needs sights. You know, if you have to aim this, you really aren't probably using it for its intended use case. In line with those sights, well, it wouldn't really be a Japanese early period matchlock if it didn't have some decoration. So we've got 3 cherry blossoms, embellishments there in the stock. All the metalwork is brass. There's a little end cap on it to protect the butt of the stock there. The pan covers and their mounting plates here are brass, so they don't spark. Overall, it's a really cool piece. These are kind of essentially the coach gun of matchlock era Japan. You'll sometimes see the term Palanquin associated with these. A Palanquin is like an enclosed chair litter. You've got a chair on a platform with a couple of long poles, and a handful of guys carry the thing on their shoulders to move someone, typically someone high status, wealthy, aristocratic, whatever, to move them around. The idea is you'd have one of these inside, and if some bad guy sticks his head in the thing, well, you've got 3 shots to blast him and make him regret that choice. So you'll sometimes see that, kind of like a Howdah pistol, kind of like a coach gun. This is all fairly, it's all the same concept of a compact, multi-shot, powerful close-range weapon. Now, these aren't quite as powerful, but I mean, I don't want to get shot in the face with one of these at point-blank range, and I'm sure nobody else did either. So there is one of these, maybe 2 of them. I think there's 2 of them in the Met, the Metropolitan Art Museum in New York. Very few others exist outside of institutional museums like that. There are a number of reproductions out there, some better than others, but very cool to get a chance to take a look at an authentic one here. So big thanks to Morphes for that. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.